you know, but you don't know kind of deal,
Yeah.
right? And then the funny thing about it, as you get more immersed and get close to that that culture, you start to be able to pick up the differences because there's clear differences between Korean and Chinese and like Japanese. But do I know? No. At one point in time, I was somewhat connected, and the individual I was cool with or dating was letting me know the differences, and I was starting to be able to pick up the differences. But now I have no idea. I just
Sure.
know.
There are differences.
Oh, there are clear differences.
I'm
I
saying now,
mean,
now you just know that there are differences, whereas you
I'm really
you
trying to figure out what the name of this guy's. No, it's not Akira Okuto. It's not Takashi Moshima.
Nagasatu.
No, no. No. We can't. All right. Well, anyways. So yeah. Back to what we were saying. Once I find it, I will of course bring it, of course,
Yeah. But
to.
to the Nigerian and African point, there was a time in the commentary where the UFC was definitely going through their African fighters that, excuse me, Daniel Cormier interjected. He's like, "Hey, where's my name on that list? I am African."
No, you're not. I mean, when did he interject? First of all, you're Danny Cromie a hater, so I mean, of course, we can't trust anything you say because
Well,
you have all that venom.
they put the graphic on the screen of where these guys from, and they showed that Nigeria flag beside about 4 or 5 names, and they showed the Cameroon flag, and it was another flag that they showed. And then Daniel Cormier, as they were talking about these fighters being African, Daniel Cormier interjected and said, "Hey, I'm
I,
African. Where's my name?"
he
It
must have
was,
been just talking shit.
yeah, he was just talking shit. It was tongue in cheek, I think, but yeah, it was just funny to hear Daniel Cormier say that at that point in time. So, I mean, shout out to him. He's no Tiger Woods. I'll say that.
Yeah, well, Daniel Cormier has
This
his
was a
cringy
positive for
moments.
me. This was a positive for me when Daniel Cormier did that.
Oh
So
yeah, well,
I'll
I
say
mean,
that.
well, okay. Well,
It's just an acknowledgement.
well, what I would say is this. Excuse me. There are a lot of Asian wrestlers that we just didn't really consider or forgot about. I mean, of course, there's Asuka, and then there's the new guy. I forgot his name. Um, that looks like a Iori from King of Fighters. If you
Sure.
play video games, you know exactly who I'm talking about. I think it was a Kenshin Homura. I think his name. No, Shinsei Nakamura. Yeah,
Okay.
I know Iori when I see it. I know King of Fighters when I see it. That's some nerd talk for somebody else. But anyways, I'm just interested and I'm very excited to see Asian fighters and to be able to see them in you know, we've seen what the Brazilians can do. We've seen what the Taiwanese folks can do. I would love to see like what I would love to see some Cambodian, Chinese, Japanese, whatever, get in the mix. Because for whatever reason, in my mind, I correlate all this martial arts shit to them anyways. So it just feels weird when we're looking at some of the best fighters in the world and we're talking about they're the best fighters in the world. And then like GSP, who's like a French Canadian, is one of them. And then we don't have like a Hakamura or Renji or whatever in the mix. It feels
Okay.
weird. It
So
feels weird.
you want to make sure that everyone is represented.
That and for whatever reason, I'm an anime slash fighting game video game nerd, and yeah, all the best characters were always of Asian descent.
Hmm. Well, there
There
you
you
go,
go.
man. There you go. There you have it. I'm not mad at you for saying that. I don't know if I can say that for the rest of the world, but yo, I like where you went
Listen,
with that.
listen. Ryu and Fei Long were always better than Guile. I'm just putting it out there. Just putting it out there. Law was always better than Paul Phoenix. Bam.
Wow, you really saying that? What about Lei Long?
Lei Wulong was better than Paul Phoenix.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, Lei
What
Wulong
about
also had
Eddie?
like three. See, Eddie was, I mean, come on, it's two to the body. It's two to the body. Come on, it's two to the body, man. Eddie and
Oh,
Bruce, Eddie and Bruce,
oh,
Balrog,
okay. There we
Eddie and
go.
Bruce, Balrog,
There we go.
DJ. They get honorable mentions. I mean, they're not honorable mentions. They get special considerations. This is a two to the
Yeah,
body
special
podcast.
consideration.
But one thing I will say is that Law was always better than Miguel, and he was always better than, of course, Paul Phoenix. Putting it out there.
I give you
Putting it
that.
out there.
So everybody was gonna pick Luke King before they picked Luke Cage. Luke.
Hey,
What
man.
was his name?
Bateman was cool in DOA, but I mean, Brad Wong was also always cooler. Enough of these video game references. I'm just interested to see. Um, I just feel that to be completely non silly. I just feel that UFC has always kind of really focused and highlighted Brazilian fighters
Yeah.
and American fighters because I mean the roots of the UFC was always very tied to Brazilian martial arts and of course American based martial arts. So that's why Brazilian Jiu Jitsu has always been highlighted, as well as wrestling has always been highlighted in the UFC, as well as boxing. So I'm interested in ONE FC because I just kind of want to see what ONE FC does with the rest of the world. Nasty Yukin is Russian. UFC is kind of bringing some of the Russian fighters into the fold, which is good. It's good to see that. I'm also good. Really interested in seeing what honestly, what else is going on in the rest of the world. Like I'm kind of interested to see. What I would love to see is a Krav Maga specialist kind of tailor the Krav Maga approach into the UFC. That'd be dope. The thing about that'd be dope. But then the crazy thing about Krav Maga is that Krav Maga has a lot of tactics because Krav Maga isn't about making points. It's about destroying your opponent in front of you and then getting out of there. So it's about efficiently. It's like if a groin strike will make your opponent stop moving, yep, go for the groin. And there's rules. There's certain rules that you can't do or you can do in the UFC. So I would love to see Krav Maga. I would love someone to take. I would love to see someone take Wing Chun. Like I've always
Someone
had this
has.
theory. I always had this theory. And my theory with a lot of these traditional martial arts styles is that if you immerse a lot of these traditional martial arts styles, especially all the Chinese styles that we've now just decided is not they're useless. If someone were to just immerse these styles into a mixed martial arts format, I think you'll start seeing a lot of these styles be able to be adaptable to mixed martial arts. The problem is these Chinese dudes probably, and for the most part, a lot of these Chinese styles, they just haven't been immersed, and you're seeing more of these styles more so being immersed. So, who's the person you're going to say that has done Wing Chun?
Tony Ferguson has done Wing Chun in fights before.
And Tony Ferguson, I guess, is somewhat to some degree a Wing Chun practitioner. He definitely did use the Wing Chun. I would love to see it because I think Wing Chun is the most adaptable Chinese martial art. I think out of all the Chinese styles, I think Wing Chun will translate the most because it's the closest thing to MMA fighting, and a lot of the principles are very like they correlate. They make sense. I would like to see that. I would like to see some of that as well. Maybe some Jeet Kune Do. You know what I'm saying?
Oh shit! You gonna
Yeah, some
throw
Jeet.
Bruce in that bitch?
Yeah, man, throw some Jeet Kune Do in there. I think
Jeet Kune Do against Wonder Boy.
yeah, man. I'm just saying. I think that's what Wonder Boy should do. I think Wonder Boy should leave and go to ONE FC because I think Wonder Boy would be a god over there.
Yeah, much like Jimmy Fredette was in China.
Yeah,
I think they call him the White Ghost or something like that.
yeah. I barely know who you're talking about, but yeah.
Jimmy Fredette? You don't know who Jimmy Fredette is?
I mean, I'm pretty sure I probably kind of know, but I kind of have to like see a picture or
Jimmy
something.
Fredette is a guy that played basketball at BYU. He was
Uh,
scoring 40 and 50s, dropping threes everywhere. Went to the NBA, played with the Bulls for a little bit, kind of washed
I
out of the
know
NBA.
exactly who you're talking about. I can't picture his face, but I know exactly who
Yeah,
you're talking
but
about.
now he's back in the NBA now. But to the point, had some shoes while he was playing ball in China, and he was balling out over there. Became a huge star, and obviously a bigger star there than he was over here. And I think
Kind of like
that
Starberry, kind of like the Starberry.
well,
Now
No.
Marbury was good. Marbury was good. He was
Yeah,
good in the
no.
NBA. Marbury was actually real good in the NBA.
Yeah.
He just kind of got a little crazy and then found himself in China.
In a
So
crazy situation, yeah.
yeah, he found himself. I think he found himself in China and he got back to his regular self and he just started killing again. Because really, I love Steve Francis. I love Jason Kidd. I love. Let me think of the point guards back then. Marbury was getting all them point guards his ass. If you think about it, Marbury was kind of the best one. He just never was on teams where he can win championships.
Well, in that era of point guard you just named,
Who's better than Marbury?
I'm thinking of. Did you say Jason Kidd's name?
Yeah, Jason Kidd wasn't better than Stephon Marbury.
That's the only defensive like guy I could think of that could play defense at that point. Because I'm thinking of these names
Like Steve
and
Francis wasn't
I
better
don't
than
see
Marbury. I don't
defense.
think. Like Stephon Marbury is one of those guys that are really good, but like kind of like how Gilbert Arenas was. Gilbert Arenas, of course. I mean, I think you would say that Gilbert Arenas' talent was better than Marbury, but it's like you know, you knew Gilbert Arenas was never going to win a championship, but he
Yeah.
was getting in everyone's, what, getting in everyone's. But anyways, let's bring this back to fighting. So yeah, so I'm interested in seeing that. Definitely. What else did we say we wanted to kind of discuss in our pre-production meeting?
Well, we definitely spoke about the upcoming fight with Israel Adesanya and Kevin Gastelum, that championship match. Definitely looking forward to that. Should be a quick one. As it gets closer to that, we'll definitely talk more about that. We also spoke of this fight that's coming around the corner that surprised us, which is actually Robbie Lawler and Tyron Woodley getting his opportunity to fight again after he took the L against Kamardine Usman. So
Kamaruddin,
so
he
how do you
gave
feel
a.
about this Woodley Lawler fight?
Okay, before we do that, let me just cover the Gastelum Adesanya situation. So with the Gastelum Adesanya situation, I think it's very interesting that Jacare Souza is over here talking shit about Adesanya. Now, the reason why I think it's interesting is because Jacare Souza has always been overrated to your boy. Now, I know that in the jiu-jitsu rankings, that is sacrilegious to say that. But in mixed martial arts, Jacare Souza has always been like the placeholder in a sense, like kind of like RDA is. That's what Jacare Souza is in that division. Like he beats people like um who's your boy that beat Anderson Silva when he was joking around, and he beat Anderson twice. You know what I'm talking
Uh,
about?
you talking
Weidman,
about Weidman,
Weidman.
the
Okay, so
greatest of all.
Jacare
Doubt me
Souza,
now.
Jacare Souza is gonna beat Weidman. He's gonna beat Derek Brunson. He's gonna beat those guys that are not in the top five because Jacare Souza's jiu-jitsu is of course legendary, and then of course he's getting better and better and better and better at his striking. Unfortunately,
Isn't
uh,
Jacare up against Yoel Romero next?
yeah, and Yoel beat the crap out of him. And you know Yoel gonna beat him again. So what are we talking about? Like he's over here talking about like Adesanya, why is he able to cut in front of me in the line? This and this and
Yeah,
this and
why?
that, so on and so forth. And it's like, my dude, you have to be Romero, boss. Like, how about you focus on Romero? Like maybe because I'm an Adesanya fan, and yeah, I mean, you can make your point that yeah, maybe he did cut in front of you in the line, but I don't know if you can be Adesanya, bro. I don't know if you can
No.
be Adesanya. I don't
But
think you
even
can.
but you see, that ain't the point whether I can beat the man that jumped ahead of me in the line. It's whether or not I get the opportunity to fight the man before he get to fight the man.
But he has to fight Romero, so they're giving him an opportunity. He's
Yeah,
fighting Romero. Romero's like number two. To be
he's
very
definitely
honest
getting the
with you,
opportunity.
and it's funny, you know what they're really doing? They're protecting Adesanya and Gastelum from Romero.
Yeah, I can see that
Because
in a
we all know
sense.
Romero is that like dark horse boogeyman. This is kind of, it's not really a dark horse because he's there, but I guess
Yeah,
we call him a light horse. He's
this
there.
is
He's there. We all know that's the guy that no one really wants to fight for real. Yeah, let's go ahead and have him beat up Jacare Souza. So whoever win this fight and whoever beats, because if you think about it right now, Romero is has to beat. has to have the next title shot
Mm-hmm.
after